Howdy there, YouTube. Okay, this video is going to be Pact Spanish Inquisition PSI. I believe this is the first game that I've been playing with this, or at least the first video. Over to the side, I have my counters that we'll be using to denote mana in Storm. And I'll be going through, hopefully I won't have to mulligan on this, but ultimately if we're just going to do friendly mulligans until I have some that is good. Alright, so 7. The good news is we have an initial mana source. Here, better idea. I think this hand can't really get much better than what you think. Okay, so we have Culling the Weak, Cabal Ritual, Bayou, so initial mana source, and very important. Odysseus Troll, Cruel Bargain, Lion's Eye Diamond, Dark Ritual. So to me this is a keep just based off of the ability to use Culling the Weak off of mana. We have initial mana source and quite a bit of mana with one business spell. Now, if you think that your opponent has Force of Will, you may want to mulligan this one or just pray that he doesn't have the force, because if this gets forced, it's our entire hand, and unfortunately we can't really be like, well, you know, I'm going to have a backup plan, because this pulls our entire pants down. You'll see every one of our 7 cards gets used. And that's how I'll do this. I'll show you the exact process. So, first thing, Bayou. Tap it for a black mana to play Dark Ritual. That adds 3 black mana and 1 Storm. Oh, here, let me move that a little bit closer to you so you can keep track too. Alright, so 3 black mana, 1 Storm. At this point, to play around days, you play that out just as a way of making sure that if they have days, you can pay a mana, not an issue. You want that, so that's 2 Storm. At this point, I'm going to use 2 black mana to play Cabal Ritual for 3 mana. There's no line of play that we can do to try and get the threshold because we only have a 7-card hand, so we're kind of screwed there. There is a way of thinking that you can hold this. Actually, yeah, let's do this, because that may not have been the most optimal way of doing this. So we'll pay 1 mana for the Trow, or however you want to look at it. Use another black and another Storm to play Culling the Weak. That gives us 1, 2, 3, 4 mana for a total of 5 mana all told. Then we're going to use 3 of it now. We're going to use 2 of it to play Cabal Ritual. Then we're going to use 3 black to play Cruel Bargain. And since I kind of messed this up, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 Storm I should be at. The reason why I was waffling back and forth about Cabal Ritual is because If I play it now, I don't get the full value of 5 mana. However, if I try and hold on to it, I can't do a blind crack of this LED, which is going to be important because when I cast this, I have no hand. This is the perfect opportunity to blind crack the LED. And really the only question is, do I want to try and say I want to have Past in Flames, or do I want to have a Slither Muse as an opportunity? Well, we don't know what's in the next 4 cards. So I'm going to just blind guess Slither Muse. So I'm going to say that's going to be 3 blue. We've already got enough black mana left over that this will just be used as colorless. I could have said green, but there's nothing really green that we need. So really, to me, it was only Past in Flames or Slither Muse as potential targets, or I could have just done black. Oh, wow. I wish I was... Wow, that is amazing. Alright, so what we've got to do is we use 1 black for Dark Ritual. And that gets us 3 mana. We'll play the Lion's Eye Diamond. And at this point, I can pretty much for free take myself down to 5 because I've already played one of these guys. Draw 4, try and burn everything out, and then no, I'm going to do it the safe way. I'm going to use 3 blue mana, 1 black for Slither Muse. Assuming the opponent, this is still turn 1, I'll draw 6 because he has 7, I have 1. I could have used this and try and burn through a little bit more and showboat a little bit, but ultimately I think it's more important that I draw 6 safer than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then try and be fancy, take myself down to 5. You know. Alright, so at this point, what we have left is 2 Goblin Charbelchers and Infernal Tutor. I've played a few things, so I'm fairly certain that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, so I've really got my pick of the litter. I can Tendrils for 20 straight out, 22 if I play Land Grant. But I'll go ahead and find my last land. Then I'll pay 4 black mana for the Charbelcher, sacrifice that for 3 mana, activate. I have no other lands in the deck. Bada bing, bada boom. Deader than fried chicken. Other lines of play right there, if you want to start showboating and show people exactly what your deck is capable of course, do the Land Grant because it's free. That adds Storm. But at that point I had 4 mana. So what you would do is you'd use 2 of that to crack that for red, pay 2 mana for Infernal Tutor. You'd sacrifice that for red, discard your entire hand, find Past in Flames, which would leave you with 1, 2, and 3. You would have you'd use these 3 and that 1 to play Past in Flames. And everything in here has flashback. That's going to be a ridiculous amount of stuff, but since we're showboating at this point anyway, those three would be used in the first Past in Flames. So let's go. Oh, sorry. That would have been 2 because of the Infernal Tutor and then Past in Flames. So, first thing, you'd play Dark Ritual. That would become removed from game. And then you'd have 3 mana. You'd play Cabal Ritual, 2 of it, becoming 5. And then that'd be another one. You'd use 1 of it to get 2 more for another Dark Ritual. You just use Land Grant because why not? Strike that. Flashback only gives you the ability to cast with its mana cost up here, not alternate mana costs. If that was Phyrexian mana, well, that'd be part of the mana cost and you could do it. So we'll just file that under oops, shit happens. Alright, so my next thing would be to use 2 of this mana for Infernal Tutor. Remove that from game. To find Ill-Gotten Gains. Pay 4 mana for Ill-Gotten Gains. That goes back there. This gets removed from game straight away. We use an island to continue that train. So I get to choose any 3 things in my graveyard to do with that. I'd choose these 3. 1, 2. 2 more there. Use my 2 black mana to crack both those and cast Infernal Tutor. And so, because this already has flashback on it, we don't really need to search that one up. But since I have 6 mana here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 just off a Lion's Eye Diamond. The thing that you do here is you Infernal Tutor for another Infernal Tutor. There we go. There's another one. Use 2 mana to play it to find another one. Use that guy. 2 mana, one of those. For we'll go for, since we're showboating, Cabal Ritual. Now, you could just say Dark Ritual and be done to try and leave up enough mana for a daze, but really they would have tried dazing everything long before this. So you'd pay this last 2 mana to put 5 more mana out, and then you would flashback Tendrils of Agony, which would be 2 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 times 2 is 38. So we have drain life for 38. Hits the opponent. Now, some people like doing this, but ultimately in a tournament setting, if you're doing this, the only thing you're going to do is you're going to screw yourself up, because all that stuff that I did right there, if I have a savvy opponent, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to call for a judge and have them look at everything, and if you screw up in any way, shape, or form, you're probably a dead man. So back when I started everything and I could play an activated Goblin Charbelcher for the win, especially considering I had both lands in my hand, it would have been like 50 damage, and yeah, I would have won straight up. And it's no muss, no fuss. It's not showboating. It's not showing you're such a badass. But what it does do is if somehow you screw up and somehow they stifle your activation or something screwy, you've got a deck that has a ridiculous amount of mana sources. You've got one land out, one land in your hand, and all you have to do is top deck something, anything, to activate this mother again. Anyway, that's my personal opinion. So, that's game one. Luckily is a win, and extremely luck sack, because you notice I had the Slither Muse, and I blind cracked an LED for blue without knowing what the heck was in it. So, on to game two.